How does a nation rise from the ashes of civil war and centuries of isolation to become the world's undisputed superpower? This isn't just a story of politics or economics. It's the epic saga of the United States of America. Today, we're diving deep into the pivotal moments and powerful forces that forged a superpower. Our story begins in the late 19th century. The American Civil War had ended, leaving a nation scarred but unified. This period, known as the Gilded Age, was an explosion of industrial growth. Railroads stitched the vast continent together, turning scattered settlements into a connected market. Steel mills in Pittsburgh, textile factories in New England, and oil refineries in Ohio roared to life. Men like Carnegie, Rockefeller, and Vanderbilt weren't just building businesses. They were building the very backbone of a future industrial giant. This era was fueled by a relentless wave of immigration. Millions arrived from Europe and Asia, seeking a better life and providing the essential labor that powered the factories and built the cities. America became a melting pot of cultures, ideas, and ambitions, creating a dynamic and incredibly resilient workforce. As the 20th century dawned, America's industrial might was undeniable, but it was still largely an inward-looking nation, hesitant to step onto the world stage. That all changed with World War I. Initially, the U.S. remained neutral, profiting by supplying the warring nations of Europe. But when it finally entered the conflict in 1917, its impact was decisive. The infusion of fresh American troops and immense industrial resources helped tip the scales for the Allies. When the war ended, Europe was devastated, its economies in ruins and its empires crumbling. America, on the other hand, emerged stronger than ever, transforming from a debtor nation into the world's leading creditor. President Woodrow Wilson tried to shape the New World Order with his 14 points and the League of Nations, signaling America's newfound global influence. The 1920s roared with jazz, consumerism, and economic prosperity. But this boom was built on shaky foundations of speculation and credit. The stock market crash of 1929 plunged the nation and the world into the Great Depression. It was a time of immense hardship, challenging the very fabric of American society. Yet, it was also a period of profound transformation. Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal introduced sweeping social and economic reforms. Programs like the Tennessee Valley Authority built massive infrastructure projects, while Social Security created a safety net for the elderly and unemployed. The government took on a much larger role in the economy, a shift that would have lasting consequences for the country's development and its ability to mobilize for future challenges. And that next great challenge was already looming on the horizon. The rise of fashion. Again, America initially stayed on the sidelines. But the attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, was a wake-up call that shattered its isolationism for good. The nation mobilized on a scale never seen before. Factories that once made cars now churned out tanks and planes. Women entered the workforce in unprecedented numbers, becoming the legendary Rosie the Riveters. The scientific community was harnessed for the war effort, culminating in the secretive Manhattan Project and the development of the atomic bomb. This incredible mobilization, dubbed the Arsenal of Democracy, not only powered the Allied victory, but also supercharged the American economy, pulling it out of the Great Depression for good. When the guns fell silent in 1945, the world was fundamentally changed. The old European powers were shadows of their former selves. Two new giants stood astride the globe, the United States and the Soviet Union. This marked the beginning of the Cold War, a half-century-long ideological struggle between capitalism and communism. America took the lead in rebuilding the post-war world. The Marshall Plan poured billions of dollars into rebuilding Western Europe, creating strong allies and stable markets for American goods. International institutions like the United Nations, the World Bank, and NATO were established, largely under American leadership, to create a new global order designed to prevent another world war and contain the spread of Soviet influence. The US dollar became the world's reserve currency, cementing America's position at the center of the global financial system. The Cold War was a period of intense competition. The space race, which saw America land a man on the moon, was a testament to its technological prowess. The arms race led to massive defense spending, which fueled innovation in industries from computing to aviation. This era wasn't without its turmoil, including the costly and divisive wars in Korea and Vietnam. But through it all, America's economic and cultural influence continued to grow. Hollywood movies, rock and roll music, and brands like Coca-Cola and McDonald's became global phenomena, spreading American culture to every corner of the planet. This soft power was just as important as its military might in solidifying its superpower status. The final act of the Cold War came in 1991 with the collapse of the Soviet Union. Suddenly, the United States was left as the world's sole superpower. The unipolar moment, as it was called, saw American influence reach its absolute peak. For over a century, through Industrial Revolution, 2 world wars, a Great Depression, and a Cold War, the United States had steadily climbed to the top. It was a journey defined by innovation, resilience, immense natural resources, a dynamic population, and a willingness to seize its moment on the world stage. From a divided nation to a global leader, the rise of America is a story of how history, ambition, and opportunity can converge to create a true superpower. What do you think was the most critical moment in America's rise? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. See you next time.